Buddha said, "My dear disciples, living means sanyabhisankarana, recognition or the sanya of sound, sanya of color, sanya of smell, sanya of taste, sanya of body feeling, means all sanyas. Then these sanya abhisankarana means we don't give an end to it. It gets aggregated again and again. These one by one get collected, get attached. Then all that has been attached like this gets collected inside as craving. Liking or craving in its intensity, that is what is known as an desire, and ill will, and ignorance. Therefore, the cessation of these three means the intensities of liking and craving get melted away. The melting away of craving was said as Tanakayo Nibbana. That is why it is referred to as Tanakayo, Desakayo, Mohakayo Nibbana, which translates as melting away of craving, ill will, and ignorance. Also, it is sparks, and long as the current is there in the battery, because the electricity or the current is there. What happens if the battery charge goes down? Then there won't be any sparking. Let's take an example. Now, when we look around us, we say the father gets a charge of 33 watts, but the child 33,000 watts, but the child will get only a charge of 5,000 watts. The child has a tanha or craving of only 5,000 watts. This is the example. But the father has 33,000 watts. But if the father sees this Dhamma well, the father's 33,000 spark level will go down even below the child's spark level, 5,000 level. Then, when the father looks around him, any vibrations or sparks, Then, if something goes wrong, the father won't get sad, saying something like, "See what happened, my son." This is the way to look at things without getting sad. This is a very good parable exa- explaining it so well. This explanation also gives a good understanding of all this without using big words or big theories. theories. Now, one can ask a question like, when we go on without melting down like this, a huge power gets accumulated in the battery. Our generated craving or tanha is similar to a car battery. Actually, it consists of desire, ill will, and ignorance, or raga, des, and more. What happens is the cessation of the charge described as tanakayo, desakayo, mohakayo, nibbana. Then another question one can get is whether there is a place where all these things get accumulated. My answer to that is don't ever take it in the form of physical bodily collection. A lot of doctors talk in this language as they tend to look at it from a physical body view. It is in the brain, totally has a balancing role in the physical body, such as the left eye, right eye, ear, and so forth. What we are talking about is not inside the brain. It's all about a sparking of the charge sense that comes from inside. When talking or looking at something is the charging process. When one talks that as something is there, then the charging process goes on and on continuously. So it goes on sparking. When a small child gets an experience of something is there for the first time, then continuously everything keeps on accumulating. It's like a glue binding everything together, called the sasavya nature of it. All five senses spark. It's sparking at all times. Now, once get formed and it keeps on forming and generating new ones again and again. This is something like this accumulating interest. When you feel a little, it triples, and then that triples. It goes on like this. 2 into 2 is 4. 4 into 2 is 8. And 8 into is 16. It multiplies and goes on. It goes on and on like that, adding up and adding up. Since we have a very good sense of understanding of these things, we know what kind of questions people may ask us. So we can explain things quite well. A question one may ask us is, ask for an example, whether an arahat would use bad language, even felt as a habit in their previous birth or in their journey of samsara. How could that happen as they continue to have this going on to the future? My answer to that question is there is no such samsaric habit in the cause and effect or the Hetupala Dhamma. Do not mix up the karma moola with the Hetupala moola to different concepts altogether. Nigatanatha Putta preached the law of karma, saying everything happens because of karma. Where before the Buddha was even born, you must know that Agavata, Govata, Kukkuravata 5 precepts are as Vutta Samadha. There is assuming that something is outside, and having something outside is true. And also, Nigatanatha Putta said, if you do something good, you go to a good place. And if you do something bad, you go to a bad place after that. This is the law of karma teaching of Nigatanatha Putta. The Buddha rejected this Dhamma. Dharma. The Buddha preached the case and effect Dhamma or the Hetupala Dhamma. If one takes everything as it exists, then it's a false view or belief, which means Mithya Drustika and Buddha's words. The Buddha rejected the Nigantanatha Buddha's Karmapala Dhamma.